section of multiplying matrices, what we'll do is basically take one matrix and another matrix, multiply them, and get their product. Okay? So how are we actually going to accomplish this task? Well, the first thing is basically you start with a problem, right? And problem is going to give you two matrices, okay? So let me give you a problem that will give you, let's say, you have 2, 3, 2 here, 4 here, 5 here, 6 here. And let's say you're multiplying it by another matrix, which basically is 4, 5, 10, 6, 2, 4. Okay? How are we actually going to multiply that? And if you remember that we basically said that we are not going to multiply or add the matrices which doesn't have the same dimensions. So let's go ahead and identify the dimension that we'll talk about here. Now here we'll be actually talking about dimension. Let's say this matrix is called A matrix. And this matrix is known to be B matrix, okay? And you're trying to find the product, which is C. So let's say A times B gives you the C product, okay? And we know that. So let's go ahead and take the dimension of A matrix. So the dimension that we will find out is number of rows, okay? And the number of columns. So the number of rows is 1, 2, 3, okay? So let's write down 3 here. Write A here because this is the A matrix. Okay? Number of columns is basically 1, 2. A is 3 by 2. And let's go ahead and look at B. B over here is basically 2 by 3. Okay? 2 rows times 3 columns. 1. Okay? Now, here, as you go on, we are getting introduced to new facts, such that if you have 2 columns over here, okay, you should be having 2 rows over here. Only then you can multiply the matrices, okay? So let's go ahead and see how are we going to actually multiply the matrix by knowing this information over here. So let's go ahead and multiply this. Erase the things that we know. Now, if we multiply A and B, we're going to get a product of C, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Basically you have to remember this such that you go this by this by this, okay? So you need to remember this sign over here. Okay? You go this way first and then this way second. That means you go 2 times 4, okay? Whatever the product is, plus 3 times 6. Okay? That way. Now let's go ahead and basically look at it. You have the first step you do, basically write down the symbol of matrix, 2 times 4 plus 3 times 6. Okay? This way, this way, this way. Then you go again. Okay? That is 2 times 5 plus 3 times 2. Okay? Then you go again to another column. That is 2 times 10 plus 3 times 4. You see how we are going up and down, over and down, over and down, like that. Okay, it's easier to remember this pattern instead of memorizing that you multiply this over here, then this over here, you add them up together. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our second. Same thing, 2 times 4 plus 4 times 6, 2 times 5 plus 4 times 2, 2 times 10 plus 4 times 4. Let's go ahead and look at our third column, or third row, oops. Then third column, third row actually, third row basically is 5 times 4 plus 6 times 6, 5 times 5 plus 6 times 2, 5 times 10 plus 6 times 4. Okay? And when you put this in your calculator, you should be getting a value over here, a value over here, value over here, 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 and here. Okay, so there is nothing much into it, so you don't have to be getting confused in where do you start from multiplying, where do you end up multiplying. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is not erase these things over here that we just did. What I'm going to do is multiply this two and use our order of operation that we learned in our previous sections, and let's go ahead and solve this by using the order of operation, or you can call it a BODMAS rule. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 3 times 6. Okay, you basically do that, and here I'll be getting the calculator so I can do much faster calculations. 2 times 4 is, we know it's 8. 3 times 6 is basically 18. 8 plus 18, it gives you 26. So let me go ahead and erase this up. This is basically the third step, right? So let me go ahead and, this comes out to be 26, so you write 26 over here. Then 2 times 5 is basically 10. Okay, you add 6 to it, that gives you 16. Then you have 2 times 10, 20 plus 3 times 4, which is 12, and that gives you 20 plus 12 gives you 32. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at another one. 2 times 4 gives you 8. You add that to 4 times 6, which basically is 24, and you'll get your result to be 32. Okay, same as the previous one, as you guys can tell. 32. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 plus 4 times 2, 8, which is 10 plus 8, and that would basically give you 18. 2 times 10 is 20. 20 plus 4 times 4, which is 16, and that will give you 36. Okay, now here we come down to a last row. Okay, so that will basically be 5 times 4. Okay, 5 times 4 is 20. 20 plus 6 times 6 is 36. That basically will give you 56. Okay, 56. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay, so we have 25 plus 6 times 2. Okay, which basically will give you 37. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 plus 6 times 2 is, which is 12. So 25 plus 12 basically will give you 37. Okay, then you have 5 times 10 plus 6 times 4 basically is 24, and that will basically give you 74. Here we have come to the end of our multiplying matrices, and I hope you this method is basically the easiest method in which you can find the product when you multiply. We started with these two matrices, and this here basically will look a huge matrix because we had lots of things over here, but when we short it down you can write 16 over here, 32 over here, and basically your matrices will basically have the C product, which is the C over here, which is 3 rows. Okay, 3 times number of rows times number of column. Number of column is 1, 2, 3, 3 by 3. Okay, that basically means you're left with a perfect square. 3 columns, 3 rows, 3 rows, 3 columns, 2 rows, 2 columns. If you have the same number of rows and same number of columns, you basically end up with a square matrices.